Yeah, you know what it is.
White and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple.
Yeah, you know what it is.
White and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple.
Yeah, you know what it is. Collegeville High School, a champions. Yeah, screaming that's us. And when we on top, boy, quit fussing. All around my town, everything is white and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple. We shut it down for the school and the sports team. White and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple. Purple and white, but you know what I mean. Double 11 senior year made history. Football, we took it to the playoffs. Collegeville, white and purple, yeah, we are the K-House. I said the K-House, the school of champions. We laugh a lot, we rap a lot. I'm asked to be an Indian again. I'm telling them that Collegeville is where it's at. So when we on the field of court, they better be aware of that. They scared of that. Of course, look at the ceiling. What up, Mr. Floyd? Yeah, it's Collegeville. And yes, I'm glad to say that I'm a K-Hawk. I'm about to graduate. Yeah, you know what it is. Collegeville High School, a champions. Yeah, screaming that's us. And when we on top, boy, quit fussing. All around my town, everything is white and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple. We shut it down for the school and the sports team. White and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple.
White and purple, yeah, I know you see it. You see the chaos and you tell yourself you wanna be it. I go to CHS, so I am a champ. I ran this game so long I'm starting to get a stomach cramp. Class of 1, 2, but we're number 1. Shout out to all my juniors, yeah, you know we get it done. White and purple, you already know. It's little easy peasy and that boy lay low.
Yeah, you know what it is. Collegeville High School, a champions. Yeah, screaming that's us. And when we on top, boy, quit fussing. All around my town, everything is white and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple. We shut it down for the school and the sports team. White and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple.
I'm about my white and purple. Scarface and DJ Screw. We on the peak of the mountain. Best at what we do. Yeah, we the champs, homie, but we ain't selling shoes. These boys bleeding purple. Call us the cheapin' crew. They don't gotta do it big, cause I don't play with sports. I play my cards right. Now a good report. When Dub 12 comes, it's time to roll off. I'm the back cause everybody rolling with me. K-Hawks.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Look, all the freshmen, all the boys,
High school, champions.
yeah, they know what it is.
All around my town, everything is
White and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple.
we shut it down for the school and the sports team.
White and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple.
Yeah, you know what it is. Collegeville High School, a champions. Yeah, screaming that's us. And when we on top, boy, quit fussing. All around my town, everything is white and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple. We shut it down for the school and the sports team. White and purple, white and purple, white and purple, white and purple.
And a very good evening to everyone as we welcome you to Kahok Stadium here on the campus of Collegeville High School. Got a little Lady Kahok soccer action coming up for you on a beautiful evening here in the Midwest. My name is Todd Duke, and welcome in as your Collegeville Kahawks get ready to take on the Belleville West Lady Maroons. And welcome in to the pregame show brought to you tonight by Chiropractic Works in Collegeville, owned and operated by Dr. Chris McCluskey. He and his crew are focused on helping as many people as possible live high-quality lives all through chiropractic care and wellness. You can visit Dr. McCluskey at Chiropractic Works in Collegeville. 410 Regency Center is where they are located. That is just off of the Beltline Road in Collegeville. Give them a call at 618-343-3602 or online at chiropracticworkscollegeville.com. Collegeville, they come into this game with a record of 4-6. They are 2-4 in the Southwestern Conference on the year under their fourth-year head coach Jody Munoz, who has a record of 17-51-8 on her resume. Belleville West, they are 8-4-1 on the year. They are 4-2 in Southwestern Conference play. Jason Mathenia is their head coach. Been doing that for 23 years into his 24th year as the head coach at Belleville West, has a pretty good record. 278 wins, 218 losses, and 41 ties. Well, the Lady Kahawks saw their brief two-match win streak come to an end Thursday night with a 2-1 loss in Belleville in overtime to the Lady Lancers of Belleville East High School. Lady Kahawk forward Peyton DeHadaway gave Collinsville a 1-0 lead on her second goal of the year just 4 minutes into the match. The Lady Kahawks took that lead into the halftime break before Belleville East junior Olivia Miller scored 9 minutes into the second half to tie the match 1-1. It stayed that way through the remainder of regulation, which sent that match into the 2 10-minute overtime periods. Halfway through the first overtime, Lady Lancer sophomore Catherine Gauk scored to give Belleville East a 2-1 lead. And although Collinsville did put on some late pressure in that one, Belleville East held on for the 2-1 win. Collinsville had 8 shots on goal in that match, while Belleville East had 7. Lady Lancers had the only corner kicks in that match, too. They had 4. Before that road loss, Collinsville had put together 2 straight wins with wins over Cape Notre Dame and Sykeston, both schools out of Missouri, with both of those matches taking place in the Frelish Cup that took place in Carbondale a couple of weekends ago. Lady Maroons, they come into this match riding a 2-match win streak, and Belleville West has won 3 of their last 4 matches since Belleville West beat Collinsville in overtime back on April Fool's Day. Lady Maroons have only lost 2 times. Following the win over the Lady Kahawks, Belleville West took care of Jabot in Waterloo 2-0 before a hard-fought 1-0 loss in Edwardsville on April the 8th. Lady Maroons rebounded from that road loss with a 3-1 win at Belleville East 2 days later. Belleville West returned home to face the number 2 girls soccer team in the country and the top-ranked team in Illinois in the O'Fallon Lady Panthers. O'Fallon showed every bit of deserving those top honors with a 6-0 win at Belleville West. Lady Maroons shook off that lopsided loss with back-to-back lopsided wins with a 7-1 win at Alton on Thursday, then returned home and beat Mater Dei last night by a score of 8-1. By the way, in that April Fool's Day match versus Collinsville, it was 0-0 after 80 minutes, and then Belleville West scored 1 goal in each of the overtime periods to pick up that win. We continue with our senior interviews, and next on the list of seniors is Ava DiGirolamo. My conversation with number 8 will come your way right after we take a timeout here on the Chiropractic Works pregame show on the Kahok Sports Network.
I'd like to introduce you to some incredible new technology we have available here at Chiropractic Works. The machine is known as an Invisared lipolaser machine. The Invisared machine emits a red light and red laser that combine in unison to go through the skin layers into the adipose or fat tissue and cause the cells to go ahead and metabolize themselves. The Invisared technology is the only machine that's FDA approved for fat loss, stimulates collagen and elastin, improves the function of the lymphatic system, boosts metabolism, and increases metabolic response. Typical response after the very first treatment is 1/2 to 2 inches of loss in body measurement. So if you think that this technology could help you accomplish any weight loss or aesthetic goals, we would be glad to have you come in for a consultation, get a first treatment, and experience the amazing benefits that Invisared offers.
Looking for something to get your high school student involved in? Maybe joining the Collinsville Kahok Trap Team is that something. Created in 2017, the Collinsville Kahok Trap Team has joined a long line of area schools in one of the fastest growing and safest sports in the country. Trap shooting is a fun, team-oriented outdoor sport that offers friendship, competition, and teamwork, all in a safe and fun environment that encourages students to be part of a team in which they will learn valuable skills and are encouraged to engage in community involvement through volunteering and mentoring. If Collinsville Trap sounds like something your student would be interested in, call Collinsville Trap at 618-795-9893 or visit Collinsville Kahok Trap on Facebook. Caseyville VFW Post 1117 Auxiliary supports the VFW with post projects and fundraiser events. The Caseyville VFW Auxiliary also provides donations and sponsorship for Veterans in Need, Jefferson Barracks in St. Louis, the Caseyville Food Pantry, outreach programs, summer lunches for students in the Collinsville Unit 10 School District, and now the Kahok Sports Network. plus sponsoring CHS programs like band, theater, and sports. If you would like to provide support or join the Caseyville VFW Auxiliary, contact the Caseyville VFW Post 1117 at 618-344-9878. Is it finally time to start doing what you've been talking about doing for years? Start making those plans right now and let Northwestern Mutual help you plan your future. Former Kahok Joe Philpott can help you get started with that plan today. Joe Philpott, a financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual, can help build a plan specifically for you with a wide range of financial options and the flexibility to change that plan as your priorities change. To get started on your future, give Joel Philpott a call today at Northwestern Mutual's Fairview Heights office at 618-606-2022. Spend your life living with Northwestern Mutual. Call Joel Philpott today, 618-606-2022. Want to catch some of the best live music in Collinsville from a band of all Collinsville area residents? Look no further than Sonically Pleasing. Sonically Pleasing with former Kahok Logan Carlisle, his dad Tim, along with Caleb Tanzius, play some of the best rock and roll hits from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. You can catch Sonically Pleasing at some of the area's finest venues, as well as book Sonically Pleasing for your private event or party. To put some music in your life, it's Sonically Pleasing. Check out Sonically Pleasing's Facebook page for upcoming live show dates and to book them for your special event or to call to book that event at 618-401-0052. Pleasing live rock music for your ears. Sonically Pleasing, 618-401-0052. Are you a collector of sports trading cards and other sports memorabilia? Then you need to check out Rippin' Rookies Cards and Collectibles in Collinsville. Rippin' Rookies specializes in sports cards from all the major sports, MLB, NBA, NFL, plus Star Wars cards and more. Rippin' Rookies buys, sells, and trades cards and other memorabilia, and they have a large selection of single and graded cards. Walk-ins at Rippin' Rookies are welcome, or you can set up an appointment for large collections at sales@rippinrookies.com. Rippin' Rookies, 102 East Clay Street in the Old Herald Complex. Open Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Rippin' Rookies, Collinsville sports card and memorabilia destination.
I'd like to introduce you to some incredible new technology we have available here at Chiropractic Works. The machine is known as an Invisared lipolaser machine. The Invisared machine emits a red light and red laser that combine in unison to go through the skin layers into the adipose or fat tissue and cause the cells to go ahead and metabolize themselves. The Invisared technology is the only machine that's FDA approved for fat loss, stimulates collagen and elastin, improves the function of the lymphatic system, boosts metabolism, and increases metabolic response. Typical response after the very first treatment is 1/2 to 2 inches of loss in body measurement. So if you think that this technology could help you accomplish any weight loss or aesthetic goals, we'd be glad to have you come in for a consultation, get a first treatment, and experience the amazing benefits that Invisared offers.
And we welcome you back into the Chiropractic Works pregame show here on the Kahok Sports Network. Probably the best spring day we have had since spring sports have gotten underway. Blue skies, a little bit of a breeze because Lord knows the last few soccer games it's been like 30, 40 mile an hour winds. But here we are at Kahok Stadium on a beautiful day. Southwestern Conference matchup. Collinsville getting ready to take on Belleville West. We continue with our senior interviews. We are up to number 8 on your roster. That would be senior Ava DiGirolamo, third-year varsity girls soccer midfielder. Okay, let's start off by finding out about the family. I know your mom, I know your dad, but people out there might not know your mom and your dad, so let's go with family. Mom, dad, brothers, sisters, and pets.
Okay, my dad's name is Chris. He works for TIAA, like a bank. And then my mom's name is Stephanie. She works at CMS. She's an RTI teacher. And then I have an older brother. His name's Keith. He's a lawyer. He just finished law school last spring. And then my sister, Mia, she's finishing up her freshman year at Mizzou. And then my brother's married to Brooke. That's my sister-in-law. And then they have a baby, Augie. He's a year old. And, yeah, I love him.
How about pets?
I have a dog. Her name's Luna. And then between my mom and my dad's house, we have, like, 3 cats. So.
All right, Dad used to be a coach here at Collinsville High School. Mom, she actually was a teacher for my daughter Addison back when she was going to middle school. So how cool is it to have that kind of Kahok alum in your family, a former coach and a current teacher?
It's definitely awesome. I love being a coach's daughter. My dad was always my coach, so especially growing up with the team, like whenever he was coaching, it was really awesome. I loved it.
All right, well, I usually ask, tell me your soccer story or whatever sport that I'm interviewing for about how you got started, but I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say your dad got you started.
Yeah, my dad got me started when I was about 4 years old. My sister Mia, she's named after Mia Hamm, the soccer player, but she never took up soccer. So when it came to me, it was my turn to play soccer. I really had no choice, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it.
And how old were you when you got started playing?
I was 3 or 4, and it's been fun ever since.
All right, I went back and looked at stats. You have had a goal your sophomore year, a goal your junior year. So when are you going to score a goal this year?
Hopefully today. Let's see what we can do.
All right, so it's time to learn more about you, the favorite things category. What is your favorite sweet snack?
Ice cream. I love ice cream.
Any flavor?
No, it just kind of depends what I'm feeling.
Gotcha. Favorite salty snack?
Popcorn.
I get that a lot. Popcorn's a good standby. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, which one of those your favorite?
Probably breakfast.
I don't get that a lot, so what's for breakfast and who cooks it?
Okay, so no one really cooks it, but me and Morgan Lang, we love hotel waffles whenever we go on soccer tournaments, so hotel waffles are our favorite.
That's what I always get when I'm at a hotel. All right, favorite restaurant?
Probably Tres Caminos.
That's a good one. I just got that one last week from somebody. I can't remember who. Music genre. What is your favorite kind of music?
Either pop or country.
Have a favorite artist or group in those categories?
For pop, it'd be Taylor Swift, and then country, probably Megan Maroney.
All right, cool. I'll take those. I don't know the second one. I knew the first one. All right, books, movies, or TV? Favorite?
Movie, and then Mamma Mia. I love Mamma Mia.
So the movie or the play?
But they're both like musicals, so it's either or is fine. I love both of them.
All right, cool. Other sports. Do you play other sports?
Yeah, I played tennis. I played tennis all 4 years. I was varsity my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and that was really fun. I love playing tennis.
All right, so if there was another sport out there that you're like, man, you know what? If I was going to be really good at something, that's the sport that I would choose.
Basketball. I've always have said that as like kind of a joke, but it looks fun.
Yeah, you're like a little bit shorter than me, so that doesn't work out.
No, not at all. I played about every other sport growing up other than basketball and softball, so.
All right, tell me a little bit about your future. What is next? You're graduating next month, so what is next for Ava DiGirolamo?
I'm going to Missouri State University. I'm majoring in elementary education, and yeah, I hope I come back in Collinsville to teach, but also maybe be a coach along the way somewhere.
All right, that's a pretty lofty goal. All right, shout out time. Who out there you want to say hi to?
All of my teammates, especially Chuck, that's our goalie, and then KVD, she always braids my hair, and then like my family.
All right. Belleville East on Thursday, man. You face these Belleville teams, and it seems like you always go into overtime. Tough game Thursday.
It was really tough. I'm excited to see where we grow from there. It was a tough game. The wind was also not fun. I am really excited to see what we do tonight. I'm ready for a win, so.
All right, you got Belleville West tonight. You already played at their place. 0-0 game after regulation, and then they got 2 on you, 1 in each of the overtimes. So tell me what you and your teammates have learned from that game that you can use tonight to your advantage.
To play our hardest from the start of the whistle to the end whistle. We kind of wait usually until about, I would say, like the second half to really start playing the way we know how to play, and we need to start like that from the first whistle. I think the only game we really have done that is against Edwardsville, and if we play like we played against Edwardsville, then I have all the confidence in the world in our team.
All right, well, good luck in this game tonight, and good luck in your future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That is Ava DiGirolamo, third-year varsity girls soccer player. We will take a break here on the the Chiropractic Works pregame show. When we come back, we'll throw the starters your way and some stats, all that and more coming up on the Kahok Sports Network.
I'd like to introduce you to some incredible new technology we have available here at Chiropractic Works. The machine is known as an InvisiRed lipolaser machine. The InvisiRed machine emits a red light and red laser that combine in unison to go through the skin layers into the adipose or fat tissue and cause the cells to go ahead and metabolize themselves. The InvisiRed technology is the only machine that's FDA approved for fat loss, stimulates collagen and elastin, improves the function of the lymphatic system, boosts metabolism, and increases metabolic response. Typical response after the very first treatment is 1/2 to 2 inches of loss in body measurement. So if you think that this technology could help you accomplish any weight loss or aesthetic goals, we would be glad to have you come in for a consultation, get a first treatment, and experience the amazing benefits that InvisiRed offers.
Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement our young athletes receive from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. Jason Regg, your Benjamin F. Edwards financial advisor, understands this. That's why Jason Regg is a proud supporter of your Collinsville Kahawks and the Kahawk Sports Network, as well as the Kahawk Educator of the Month Award. For all of your investment needs, see financial advisor and investment vice president Jason Regg at the Benjamin F. Edwards office in Collinsville, located at 1008 Vandalia Street, or call Jason Regg at 618-223-5215 or visit benjaminfedwards.com. Benjamin F. Edwards, member SIPC. Collinsville Barbecue Supply, home of Code 3 Spices, is first responder owned by proud Kahok alums. Located at 1966 Vandalia, Collinsville Barbecue Supply is your one-of-a-kind barbecue headquarters that focuses on everything barbecue and cooking, providing the best American-made barbecue grills, in-person class instruction, smokers, rubs, sauces, accessories, and cooking expertise from professional barbecue experts, including an in-house chef and pitmaster. Code 3 Spices provides award-winning sauces and rubs that supports our nation's first responder and military organizations that focus on the fallen, suicide prevention, and PTSD awareness. Stop on by, see the guys at Collinsville Barbecue Supply for all of your cooking and grilling needs. Collinsville Barbecue Supply, home of the 4-time world champion Patriot Sauce. Learn more about their products and mission in giving back to those who serve at collinsvillebarbecue.com or call 618-855-8855.
We love to have you come work for the city of Collinsville. We have many positions available, from seasonal jobs to full-time opportunities in many of our departments. From police and fire to Gateway Center, Parks and Recreation, and City Hall. Our employees enjoy great benefits like comprehensive medical plans, paid time off, tuition reimbursement, and more. Visit the city's website, collinsvilleil.org, to apply and learn more about working for the city of Collinsville.
Once again, we welcome you back here into the broadcast booth at Kahok Stadium here at Collinsville High School. Just about ready to go. Got some starters to give here in just a minute as they are about ready to be announced here to the crowd that is gathered here for this game between Collinsville and Belleville West. Let's go through a little bit of history between these two programs. Lady Kahok Soccer started in 1984. Belleville West girls soccer started in 1995. First recorded meeting between the two schools was in 1995. Collinsville won that one by a score of 5-0. Between that first meeting in 95 through 2005, Collinsville went 15-0 versus Belleville West. Lady Maroons finally broke through on April 20th of 2006 with their first win over Collinsville, a 2-1 win here at Kahok Stadium. In that year's regional playoffs at Belleville West, Lady Kahawks would take down Waterloo in the regional semifinal, but then lost to the host Maroons 3-1 in the regional championship game. After winning those first 15 matches versus Belleville West, Lady Maroons would go on to win the next 7 matches and knock Collinsville out of the regional playoffs 3 times in a 4-year span. Collinsville finally got the better of Belleville West in the 2010 regionals and beat Belleville West 2-1 in that year's regional championship game before losing in the sectional championship game 2-1 to Joliet Township. Ron Rowden's final season. Clay Smith took over the following year. Collinsville has lost their last 5 meetings now with Belleville West, 2 in 2023, 2 in 2024, and then earlier this year in that meeting that we brought you at Belleville West. So Collinsville overall, though, is 30-9 in the regular season versus Belleville West, but Belleville West is 4-2 in playoff action. So overall, Collinsville is 32-13 versus Belleville West. Here are your starters. We'll begin with the Lady Maroons. Brooke Stellhorn will be in goal tonight, and in front of her you will find Lucy Senchin, a freshman midfielder. Emerson Morris, another freshman midfielder. Liv Schaefer, a junior midfielder. Alyssa Sternow, a freshman defenseman. Sydney Oliver, a junior midfielder. Addie Gagan, a senior midfielder. Hannah Sternow, a junior defenseman. Ella Doobie, a sophomore defenseman. Emma Hagan, a senior midfielder. And Josie Coughlin, a sophomore forward. For Collinsville, Carly Van Dyke will get the start in goal tonight. And in front of Carly, you will find senior defenseman Ella Smith. Morgan Lang, also a senior midfielder, as is our pregame guest, Ava DiGirolamo. Ella Borm, who will be our next pregame guest, is a senior defender. Rylan Judasek is the sophomore midfielder. Peyton DeHadway, the freshman forward. Ashley Giannini, the junior defender. Addie Munoz and Carly Call, also junior defenders. And then you throw in Liliana Lira, who will be our final senior interviewee of the year. She is a senior midfielder. And there you have the starters for both of these teams. We have one more break coming your way, and when we come back, we will have some soccer action for you. We will do that here in just a moment on the Kahok Sports Network.
All Pro Tees in Caseyville is your place for custom apparel and has been for over 20 years now. Why? All Pro Tees can handle any size project, big or small, and they specialize in large group orders. At All Pro Tees, quality is number one on their list of priorities, as is evident by their excellent service staff. Did we mention All Pro Tees has over 20 years of experience? They can even help with fundraisers and event merchandising for your group. And of course, All Pro Tees is your destination for everything Collinsville Kahawks. So for all of your apparel needs, for civic groups, sports teams, business outings, or even a family reunion, your apparel needs stop at All Pro Tees. All Pro Tees in Caseyville at 2240 South Morrison Avenue. Online at allprotees.com. Right across the street from Kahok Stadium. All Pro Tees, 618-344-2200. Celebrate the life of your loved one should be as special as the person they represent. That's why you will always find the staff at Her Funeral Home in Collinsville ready to go the extra mile to meet the needs of you and your family during those times. For over 100 years, Her Funeral Home has been there for Collinsville and the surrounding communities. Of the many arrangements made after losing a loved one, the first is the selection of a funeral home. The staff at Her Funeral Home in Collinsville can help with that planning. Call Her Funeral Home in Collinsville at 618-344-0187. Her Funeral Home, serving Collinsville families for over 100 years. 618-344-0187. Got questions about Medicare? If you're approaching the age of 65, the answer to that question is a resounding yes. Bill Holton is a former Collinsville Raider and Kahok football player and is now an independent broker with Senior Health Plans, and he can answer all of those tough questions when it comes to Medicare. Which plan, which part, what's covered, and what's not. If you're approaching the age of Medicare and need those questions answered, let Bill Holton get you those answers. Bill Holton with Senior Health Plans. Call him today at 618-978-2306 or email Bill Holton at william.holton@yahoo.com. Looking for a new place to catch the game with cold drinks and great food? Look no further than 1101 Bar and Grill in Caseyville. 1101 Bar and Grill features pizza, burgers, wraps, and salads, plus 7 large screen TVs to catch the latest Kahawk games and all the pro sports across the spectrum, plus all the college football and basketball you can handle. 1101 Bar and Grill in Caseyville, 1101 Caseyville Road, right across the street from Kahawk Stadium. Call 1101 Bar and Grill for carryout orders at 618-223-1332.
Once again, we welcome you back here to Kahawk Stadium on the campus of Collinsville High School. Very busy place. Construction going on back behind the school, the new baseball, softball fields, plus there will be a soccer practice field back there as well. And then you got the construction right behind us going on for the new vocational center. All kinds of things going on around here. Let's get you more prepared for this game. In goal, Brooke Stellhorn, 960 minutes on the year. She is 8-4-1. Has 5 shutouts to her credit. 4 of those are solo. One of those is shared with the other 2 backup goalies, Lily Brown and Lily Liebman. 13 goals against is what Stellhorn has allowed this year for a stellar goals against average of 1.08, 52 saves for a save percentage right at 80%. Carly Van Dyke in the other goal, 530 minutes on the year. She is 3-4, has 1 solo shutout to her credit this year. She's given up 12 goals, 2.43 goals against average, has saved 64, and that gives her an average of 85%. Carly Call, Morgan Lang, and Peyton DeHadway lead the Collinsville Kahawks in goals. All 3 of those young ladies have 2. Josie Coughlin and Addie Gagan lead the Belleville West Lady Maroons in goals. They each have 8. So there you go. We are underway. Collinsville, of course, out there in the all-purple uniforms, purple shorts, purple jerseys. Numbers on the backs and the fronts of those are in white. And the Maroons are out there in all white. They have maroon numbers on the fronts and the backs. And now Collinsville defending, and right off the bat, a goal scored, and Collinsville goes down quickly by a score of 1-0. That goal credited to Livy Schaefer, the junior midfielder. Schaefer scoring her 8th goal of the year now, so now there's a 3-way tie at the top of the list for Belleville West as well. And that just comes 1 minute in.
Belleville West goal scored by number 4, Livy Schaefer. Time of the goal, 40 seconds. Schaefer.
Yeah, 40 seconds in, and Belleville West already has a 1-0 lead. So a little unlike the road game we did for you earlier this year when no one scored in the regulation department and they had to go to overtime, and that's when Belleville West got a goal in the first overtime and the second overtime to post themselves a 2-0 win. So not a lot of time wasted here in this one. JV team lost earlier. Belleville West scored a goal with about 2 minutes left in the first half, and then quickly came out in the second half and scored a goal 3 minutes in and went on to win the JV match by a score of 2-0. Here is Judasek trying to get Collinsville going in the right direction. So Carly Van Dyke is in goal to your left, and Brooke Stellhorn in goal to your right. So Collinsville needs to move the ball right. Got a little bit of a win, not as much as we've had in past games, and most recently, the game at Belleville East on Thursday had about 30 to 35 mile an hour winds coming, and those were very fun to watch. But this wind is a little bit on the lighter variety, and it's blowing right at the press box, so a little bit of a cross breeze blowing across the field here. Second shot on goal there by Belleville West, but that's a save by Van Dyke, and now Carly will send us back to action. American flag was whipping a little bit, but now it's kind of calmed down a bit. But beautiful day otherwise. A little bit of a breeze, mostly sunny all day. We were supposed to reach a temperature of 80. I think my car temperature gauge read 77 on the way here, and almost going to have a repeat of that tomorrow. So hopefully we can dry up some of these ball fields and stop moving games around so we can bring you some Kahok softball and some Kahok baseball. We've only been able to do 1 softball game so far this year and 2 baseball games. So the weather has really messed with our live streaming schedule here in the first month of spring. 22nd of April today. Last day of school for the kids, if you're not a senior, is going to be the 22nd of May. And then the last day for teachers is the next day, the 23rd. So school year is winding down. We just finished up our last break of the year with Easter break, the 5-day period now over, and that's the last bit of time off we have before school comes to a close. Last year, Easter came a little early, so we had a little bit of a longer way to go once that Easter break came and went. Here is a shot by Sinchin and caught by Van Dyke. Third shot on goal already for Belleville West. Collinsville has yet to really enter the offensive zone, and we are about 3.5 minutes into this one. Van Dyke sends the ball back out to midfield. Skips right underneath the foot of Doobie. Collinsville comes away with it. Here's DeHadway. Tries to send it up, but she sends it right to Hannah Sternow, and Sternow will send it over this way now to Doobie. Doobie sends it on up, gets it to Morris. Morris cuts across the midfield stripe, splits the Collinsville defense, sends one past, but Carly Van Dyke was well out of her goal, and a good thing she was because Addie Gagan had everybody beat, and that was not an offsides call, so she would have been 1v1 versus Van Dyke down there. Belleville West, they go back to possessing the ball once again. Here's Oliver. Oliver gets the ball up to Hagan. Hagan enters the side of the 18-yard box and being watched there by Smith, and a shot that Van Dyke handles while she was up against the near side post. So close to being a shot on goal, but it was a little bit off anyway, and Van Dyke will send us back to work once again. Trying to spring Collinsville into a little offensive push down here, but first one to touch it, of course, is Belleville West, and it ends up going off of Morgan Lang, and then it comes down to Dubé. Dubé sends the ball up, stopped over there by Ella Smith, and then over to DiGirolamo, goes out of bounds, and the throw-in will come from Belleville West and Ella Doobie. Doobie, a sophomore defender, will throw the ball up the line over everyone's head, but Belleville West is going to be the first one to get there, and here is Livy Schaefer, who just scored the first goal. That ball goes over the end line, and Belleville West is going to have the first corner kick of this game. It'll be Schaefer to take it. And she will be kicking into what little wind there is. Flags on the goalpost of the football uprights are a little bit still right now as well. That one's going to go all the way out the other side and across the end line, and that's going to be a goal kick restart coming up here for Van Dyke. Just a little over 5 minutes in, and Belleville West has a 1-0 lead. Livy Schaefer scores 40 seconds in to the contest. Collinsville hoping they can get some offense going here and get this thing tied up and then take their chances with the rest of the game. But right now, Collinsville playing uphill. Ball over on the far sideline ends up going out of bounds. And a throw in over there for Belleville West. Stays on that far sideline. Picked up over there by Addie Gagan. Gagan ends up knocking the ball out of bounds, but off of a Kahok. I believe that was off of Carly Call. Call uses her head and brings it back out to midfield, but that bounces over the head of Duhadway. So Duhadway trying to chase down, but she ended up chasing down the player and not the ball and knocked Sydney Oliver down. And Belleville West has a free kick, but they turn that into a free pass over on the far side of the field. Lady Maroons bringing it up once again. Collinsville rejects that. Back out toward midfield it goes, but Belleville West is there to send the ball back on the offensive side of things. Duhadway sends it over to DiGirolamo. DiGirolamo has to play it back to her defense. Smith gets it up to Judasek. Judasek will send it up the line. Here comes DiGirolamo. She'll spring a pass over to DeHadway. She's got a couple of defenders to get around. She does. Sends it over to Carly Call. Call just outside the 18-yard box, trying to control and get a little closer, but that ball is picked off by Belleville West, and the Maroons will start their pressure once again. Here is Sternow. Sternow sends it over to the far sideline. And right at the end of the Belleville West bench, trying to find her way around Carly Call. I believe that is Oliver. Oliver will send it over the head, though, of Doobie, and Collinsville will have a throw-in from about 30 yards away. And Ava DiGirolamo will go ahead and take this one. Throws it on into Judasek. Judasek had to go off of her shoulder and then pops it out over to Ella Borm. Borm sends the ball over to Carly Call. Call enters the 18-yard box, but then that ball is picked off by Sternow. And Sternow takes it all the way over to the sideline. Stays in bounds. They'll bring it up the line. Belleville West makes their way back toward midfield. Kicks the ball all the way across, and that one was stopped by Munoz. Almost rolled all the way to Duhadway, and then that ball is going to go out of bounds, and right before Munoz kicks it, the referee waves his flag saying it's out of bounds, so it'll be a throw-in over there in between the benches by Belleville West. Just about 9 minutes gone here in this first half. Ball comes down, sent over this way to Doobie. Doobie sends the ball up. Ella Smith will send it back down the line. It's going to stay inbound, so Maroons will have to go track it down. And doing so is Sternow. Sternow will send it back over to Brooke Stellhorn to give Stellhorn a little bit of early work here. Stellhorn will send the ball back to midfield. Stopped over there by the Collinsville defense. That was Liliana Lira along with Addie Munoz. Here is DiGirolamo. She'll send the ball on up for Morgan Lang. And then a little bit of a colliding of about 5 different players there until Belleville West finally breaks the ball out. Here's DiGirolamo. She'll send one up the middle to Duhadway. Duhadway trying to spring Carly Call over there, but that ball never made it to her, and Belleville West will send the ball all the way back downfield. Giving it a chase is Addie Gagan. Gagan will try to get there before it has a chance to cross the line, and she does right near the corner kick flag. Being watched closely by Munoz, and that ball is spinning up the line. Won't go out of bounds. Collinsville sends it up again. Here is Carly Call. Call will send it out to midfield for DeHadway, and DeHadway will send it right into her bench. Sydney Carroll and Jody Munoz over there. Claire Rindelman's here. She's supposed to be our post-game guest. I've given instructions to players and assistant coaches alike to remind her to come up after the varsity game's over with, and we'll get our first post-game interview with the former Lady Kahok goalkeeper, Claire Rindelman, who graduated here in 2019. Here is Doobie. Doobie sends the ball up. finds Oliver. Oliver will send the ball back up to midfield, taken over there by Jesse Coughlin. Coughlin then gives the ball up for Gagan. Gagan brings it up to Schaefer. Schaefer already has a goal here in this game, and Belleville West leads 1-0. Circling over on the far sideline is Morris. Morris will put one into the 18-yard box. That's sent out by Giannini. Now Judasek takes it and sends it over, but no one there wearing the purple and white. And that ball once again comes into the 18-yard box. Referee says it's offside, but play continues, and the ball rolls to Van Dyke, and she'll send us back to work here with a goal kick restart. 29 minutes to go here in this first half. 1-0 in favor of Belleville West. Collinsville trying to pick up their third Southwestern Conference win of the year. Belleville West looking for their fifth. Over to the far side it goes for Lyra. Lyra sends the ball up, but that ball was struck hard, and it bounces right off of the ankles of DeHadway and then heads toward the sideline where Belleville West will take over. And they'll send the ball over here to Doobie. Doobie sends the ball up the line, but Ella Smith is there first. She knocks it out of bounds before her opposing number 3, Emerson Morris, could get to it. And now the throw in coming up from Ella Doobie. Doobie looking around, deciding where she wants to go with it. Up the line it goes to Coughlin. Coughlin trying to zigzag her way around Giannini. That didn't work, and Giannini sends the ball up to Judasek. Judasek got a foot on it, then her head, sent it back the direction it needed to go, but then that's as far as it would go until Belleville West will oblige and send it all the way back to their final 2 defenders. Here is Alyssa Sternow. Sternow sends it up, and jumping right over that was Munoz. And here is Giannini. Giannini will end up letting it go across the line. That's going to be another corner kick coming up here for Belleville West. This will be their second of the game. This one will come from the far side corner, and heading over there is Sydney Oliver. Oliver will take this corner kick from the far side corner flag. Everybody's shielding their eyes from the sun over there on that far side. High, right down the middle, but getting there first was Addie Munoz. She'll send it back over to the far sideline. And chipping in up there is Sternow. Sternow over on the sideline. That one will go out of bounds, and it'll be a goal kick restart coming up here for Collinsville. JV team lost 2-0. Collinsville trying to pick up a win here at home. I believe they've only had one win here, and that was against Belleville East. The game Zach Roseman did. 2 of their wins, the back-to-back ones, came at the tournament in Carbondale. And Collinsville back to play a little bit of defense once again. Over to the far side it goes, and right at the end of the Kahok bench, a throw-in coming up for Belleville West. Collinsville gets there momentarily, but West then recovers, and they'll send it back to the defense once again. Defense sends it up front, right into the front of the 18-yard box. Giannini trying to fend things off, and that one ends up going by. And another score here for Belleville West, and I believe that was Josie Coughlin who scored that one. And for Coughlin, that is her 9th goal of the year, so she retakes the lead in goals. And that one comes 14 minutes in. So 2-0 in favor of Belleville West now. And 2 goals on 4 shots on goal for Belleville West. So they are making the most of their opportunities here. They won 2-0 in overtime. The last time these 2 teams faced off in Belleville. But this time, already 2-0 here in the first half. Throw in coming from Doobie. Throws it in just outside the 18-yard box, sent back out and all the way up the near sideline. That is where DeHadway will try to take over from there. Has 3 defenders to worry about. Sends the ball up to the middle, but that's picked off by Senshin. And Senshin then in turn gets it picked off by to Hadway. Hadway will send it up to Judasek. Judasek ran over from behind by Sternow. And then Collinsville will send the ball back up once again to the defense and out to the midfield logo here at Kahok Stadium. Over here to Doobie. Doobie will send it up the line and find Morris with it. Morris darts around Ava Smith, who's into the game. Belleville West will send it over to the far sideline. Up the sideline it'll go, as West did a pretty good job of keeping it in, and then it'll be a goal kick restart as Collinsville blocked any further activity from that ball and let it roll across the end line. And Carly Van Dyke will send us back to work. Lars Newtbar with a 2-run home run in the top of the third. Cardinals have a 2-0 lead over at Atlanta. Tell you what, the Cardinals have been struggling, man. Got swept by the Mets, lost a tough one last night in the first game to open that series at Atlanta. And St. Louis Cardinals are in a bit of a tailspin. Over on the far sideline, picked up over there by Addie Gagan, and Gagan had that one knocked out of there by Van Dyke. And then sent back out to midfield by Collinsville. Duhadway tried to get there first, but Doobie closed that off. And now back out to midfield we go, or excuse me, the midfielder area we go. Closer to midfield now, but Belleville West gets there, and they continue to push it forward and play a little offense, but that'll roll right to Van Dyke, and she'll scoop it up with no further damage being done. Coming up on 23 minutes left to play here in this first half on a beautiful evening here in the Midwest, and we have a whistle. Something happened there, and Collinsville's guilty of some kind of infraction. I didn't see it. So the free kick will come right from the logo. Taken here by Sternow. Sternow will instead pass it over to the far side for Oliver. Oliver will send it over this way to Doobie. Doobie runs right into Maddie Everett. So she'll retreat and start all over again. Ball comes up. This time it finds Livy Schaefer. Schaefer will send it on up the way, and another chance here coming up for Emma Hagan. Hagan will take the shot, but that'll go well wide and end up back behind the goal. And another goal kick restart coming up here for Carly Van Dyke. Another couple of substitutions coming in here for Collinsville. Hayden Reg will come in. First time I've called her name this year. Ava DiGirolamo, Hayden Reg, daughter of one of our sponsors, Jason Reg of Benjamin F. Edwards. And Reg immediately finds herself in the middle of the action here. Comes down and a whistle. Collinsville's going to get a free kick, but this one's going to be from about 90 yards away. Ashley Giannini still with that right thigh wrapped after an injury earlier this year in the Powder Puff football game. She'll send a screaming line drive up the line, and that one is going to head out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in coming up here for Belleville West. Lancers throw it in, and Everett will lodge the ball loose, but Belleville West, they'll come up with it anyway. Here is Sydney Oliver. Oliver sends the ball up to Gagan. Gagan trying to race around Liliana Lira. She's successful in that, but Addie Munoz closes in. Now a ball right in front of the 18-yard box. And it'll be sent toward the goal, and that one is on top and then over the goal. Those are dangerous when they're about 20 yards out. And despite the fact that Carly Van Dyke went up to try to save it, it went past her hand, and that's going to be a goal kick restart. Here is Layla Wilkerson, who checks into the game for the first time. Wilkerson, the sophomore. Hayden Reg, by the way, a junior. Spends a lot of her time on the JV squad, though. got pushed in the goal on the JV squad a couple of times last year, too. With the injury to Van Dyke, they had to move Paige Bonemeyer up from JV and put her in the goal for the varsity team. So this year, J-Lo Weisinger is the pretty much the everyday starter in goal for the JV team. That frees Hayden Regg up to just do what she normally does, play defense. Collinsville looking to get one of these back. They are down 2-0. We are halfway through this first half. Belleville West has scored 2 goals on 5 shots. Collinsville looking for their first shot on goal. Throw in, comes right in between the benches, comes up the line for Judasek. Judasek bounces off a couple of defenders, and the ball comes back to where it started. And then Belleville West will take over. Collinsville's got a couple of numbers back, so they should be all right in this one. Here is Giannini. Giannini steps right in front of Josie Coughlin, sends it back up the line, and then Collinsville takes over from there. Elena Serna, who's into the game, she'll put a foot on the ball and stop that right in its tracks, but we're going to have a foul called back away. And over on the sideline, Belleville West will have a free kick from just outside the 18-yard box. Trying to provide a one-person wall is Lyra. That one will head out the other side. I think they're going to let her do that one over again. They are. So a mulligan. That ball is on the way, off of a head and into the goal. And once again, Livy Schaefer will score her second goal of this game. And Belleville West takes a 3-0 lead. So things are not going how the Lady Kahawks would like. After a hard-fought overtime loss on Thursday, they've had some time off, Easter weekend. And the Lady Kahawks find themselves down 3-0, and we still have 18 minutes left to play here in this first half. This one gets by everyone, goes over to Judasek. She'll track it down first. She'll send it over to the far side now for Sirna. Sirna skirts that sideline, sends it just outside of the 18-yard box, but Belleville West gets there first. And Sinchin will take her trip right in front of her own bench, sends a pass up. That's off the backside of one of her teammates, Morris, but it continues up the line. Van Dyke will come out and meet it, and she'll send it back out to midfield. Belleville West got there first. Collinsville, they'll try to settle it down. Here is DiGirolamo, but no one over here to pass it to. So here comes Doobie once again, and she'll send it up across the line, but it'll go out of bounds, and Collinsville will have a throw-in. Hayden Regg will throw the ball in. Up the line, and then sent right back to where it came from, but here is Giannini, and Giannini has that ball go off of her leg and out of bounds, so Belleville West with another throw-in here. And it'll be Josie Coughlin who will, nope, she'll give it up to Doobie. Up the line it goes, and off of the calf over there of Morris. Collinsville gets a hold of it, sends it back out to midfield, and Belleville West will just let the ball go out of bounds. They'll have another throw in here from midfield, and Doobie will take care of those honors. Up the line it goes. Kahawks trying to generate some offense. First, they got to control the ball. Having a hard time doing that here so far in this first half. Here is Doobie again. She'll send it over here to Coughlin. Coughlin already has a goal and then sends it up. Liv Schaefer has 2 goals, so Schaefer didn't like the fact that Coughlin overtook the lead in goals. So now Schaefer, with 2, has 9 on the year, so she is the new goal leader for Belleville West. They'll punch it up front. Collinsville trying to send it back and let the defense help out, but instead they'll find Lainey Capel. Capella into the game for the first time, sends it to Aubrey Home, who's also into the game for the first time. That one goes over everyone's head, and we'll head over to the corner flag. Belleville West will get there first, send it out in front of the box. A shot taken, but that one goes off of one of the Kahok players and across the end line. So Lady Maroons, with a 3-0 lead, will have their third corner kick of this game.
Collinsville substitution number 7, Morgan Lang. Number 20, Carly Call. West substitution number 4, Libby Schaefer.
Carly Call will come back into the game. And a high kick, and get that out of here, says Van Dyke, as that ball was close to the top of that crossbar. And another throw-in coming up here for Hayden Regg. Regg throws it up the line. Maroons are the first ones to touch it, but then they kick it out of bounds. Lucy Senchin did, trying to string a pass over to Doobie, but that ball went this way instead of that way. Hayden Regg gets knocked down. That's a foul against Belleville West. Collinsville will have a free kick from about 80 yards away. Ashley Giannini with the honors. Giannini sends the ball up, and using the head was Hannah Sternow. She sends it back over to midfield. Collinsville trying to get it away. Serna over there along with Carly Call, but no luck there as Addie Gagan sends the ball up the line. Now here is Munoz. Munoz trying to send it up the line, but instead she hits Gagan with it. And Belleville West starts back the other way. Schaefer with the 2 goals. Tried to look for a hat trick, but she made a little bit of an errant pass. Collinsville gets the ball back, sends it back up the middle. Trying to chase it down is Everright. She couldn't do so. And here is Senchin for Belleville West. She'll just send it back to the defense. The defense will take over from there, and here is Sternow. Sternow thought about sending it over to Doobie, but Layla Wilkerson was making her eyes to that area, and she thought better of it. Here is Senchin. Senchin sends it up the far sideline. Trying to chase it down is Schaefer. That ball is going to go hit the corner flag, and we are going to have a throw-in for Collinsville right in front of that corner flag. Taken by Carly Call. Call throws it up the line. Maroons send it into the 18-yard box. Collinsville will back up and just let Van Dyke take it. And Van Dyke will send it to midfield and a little bit farther. That one goes off of the head, though, of Sternow. Collinsville, they're the first ones that find it, and then it goes off the bottom of the shoe of Serna. She got kind of twisted there, and this will turn into a throw-in for Belleville West. As Ella Borum checks back into the game for Collinsville. Up the line it goes.
Substitution number 9, Ella Borum. Belleville West substitution number 13, Emma Hagan.
Emma Hagan also checks back in for Belleville West. 12 minutes to go here in the first half. Been all Maroons so far, 3-0. 2 goals by Livy Schaefer and 1 by Josie Coughlin. Throw in from in between the benches for Collinsville. Here is Carly Call with the throw in, trying to get it down to DeHadway. Found her. As DeHadway checks back in. 21, Allison Barrera, freshman midfielder, into the game now for Collinsville. Kahawks looking for a little bit of offense here, and they're going to get a little bit of help as that's going to be a free kick. Going to be from about 50 yards away. Ashley Giannini making her way over there from the far sideline. Again, not much of a wind, just a little bit of a breeze that's headed right toward the press box. That one's popped up, going to make it into the 18-yard box. Takes a roll toward the corner kick flag. DeHadway is there first, and then it's kicked out of bounds by Belleville West, so Collinsville will have a throw in from the near side sideline, just outside of the box by Layla Wilkerson. Wilkerson throws it into DeHadway. DeHadway trying to send it deeper into that 18-yard box, couldn't do so. And again, it goes out of bounds. This time it is off of Morris. And another throw in coming up here for Collinsville. And Hayden Regg will take the opportunity right to DeHadway. DeHadway, and a little bit of a tussle there, but ball eventually finds Morgan Lang. Lang will trying to send it back to Regg, but that ball got stopped a little bit before it made it about a foot, and Belleville West will take over. They'll thread the needle and send it up to Laney Capel. Capel will have that ball knocked away by Collinsville and Addie Munoz, and the throw-in will come from Emerson Morris. Morris doesn't waste any time. Throws it just outside of the box, and then a pass, and then off of the leg. One of the Lady Maroons over there. Trying to redirect it was what she was trying to do. Stuck her leg out, and it went off of her shin and straight up over the goal. So Carly Van Dyke will get another kick here. Coughlin will check back in. Heading out is Morris for Belleville West. Collinsville not making a substitution this go-around. Here's Borm. Sends the ball up to Wilkerson. Wilkerson got knocked away. And here is Schaefer. Schaefer gets kind of a little handlebar shove there by Munoz. Ball goes into the Kahok bench, and Belleville West will throw it in from there. Carly Call got a foot on it first. Sends it back over to midfield, but Sinchin was there. Sends it over to Doobie. And Doobie races around. Got a couple of Kahawks there trying to provide some defense, but Doobie stays with it. Over to Coughlin. Coughlin trying to pass it to herself up the line, but a little bit too far, and that ball goes out of bounds. Maroons make a couple of substitutions. Rylan Judasek will check back in for Collinsville, and Ava DiGirolamo will head out. Addie Gagan and Lily Glauber check back in for the Maroons. Off of a head and off of DeHadway. Off of Judasek, using her head there and got it right back to DeHadway, but nothing doing after that. Belleville West takes over right at midfield. Collinsville gets there first. Here is Carly Call. Call trying to get around the defense. Couldn't. She got stonewalled over there by Sternow. Sternow then pays the price. She got ran into by Ella Borm. Comes back to Borm. Borm sends it up to midfield. Collinsville right in between the legs of one of the defenders trying to spring to Hadway, but right in between the legs of one and right to another one, and Doobie didn't waste any time sending back that one from where it came. As we are coming up on 7.5 minutes to play here in this first half. All Belleville West, 3 goals on 6 shots. 3 corner kicks for the Lady Maroons as well. Collinsville looking for their first shot on goal and, of course, their first corner kick as well. Throw in, coming in between the benches, and it comes up that far sideline. Belleville West wrestles it away, and we have another whistle, and Collinsville is going to get a free kick. This one, again, going to be about 40, 45 yards out. This one going to be taken by Rylan Judasek. Judasek pops the ball up. And in front of the 18-yard box, that's off of the head of one of the Lady Maroon players. And then a nice job by the keeper, Brooke Stellhorn. She tracked that ball down before it had a chance to get over the end line, or Collinsville would have had a corner kick, but that turns into a throw-in. And it's going to be Liliana Lira with the honors, Elena Serna with the honors. Gets it into Judasek. Judasek then gets double-teamed over here on the sideline. That ball rolls across the end line. Collinsville is going to get a corner kick out of this. So the Cahoks will get their first corner kick. They didn't have any the other night at Belleville East, so first corner kick in a while here for the Lady Cahoks. Judasek will take this. Rylan, ready to go. It's on the way. comes out over to the other side. And Collinsville trying to chase it down. Here is Carly Call. Call from the far sideline, trying to send it back into the 18-yard box, but she got bumped off the play, and then Eddie Munoz finds the ball and will send that one right back into the box, but it rolls gently to Stellhorn. She picks it up with no problem. 5.5 to go here in this first half. 3-0 in favor of Belleville West. Stellhorn sends the ball into her own bench. I'm sure that's not what she had in mind. So Carly Call will throw it back in from right in front of the Maroons bench. Comes right back to where it started, and then Call will send it back out toward the middle of the field. Trying to slow it down there is DeHadway. She does, sends it up, but right into the feet of one of the defenders. But Collinsville finds the ball and couldn't get any farther than just outside of the 18-yard box. Comes up the sideline, and here come the Lady Maroons. Up that far sideline again, here is Hagan. Hagan will send the ball into the middle and then try to go chase it back down. She can't, and it's going to turn into a goal kick restart coming up here for Collinsville as the Kahawks want to make a couple of substitutions as Maddie Everett and Ava DiGirolamo check back into the game. Van Dyke sends the ball back out about halfway between where she is and midfield. Collinsville trying to track it down. Belleville West, they get there first. Send it back to the defensive line. Here is one of the captains for Belleville West. That would be Hannah Sternow. Judasek comes away with it and trying to send it to the middle, and a couple of players run right into each other. The ball didn't go very far as Everett ran right into Oliver. Collinsville sends it back out toward midfield. Judasek couldn't get there. Carly Call does. Sends it up the sideline. Back over to midfield. Right across the logo is Judasek. Judasek will send the ball over this way. Here is Serna. Serna enters the 18-yard box and banks one right off of the body of one of the Lady Maroons. That was Sternow. Collinsville is going to get their second corner kick of this game. Once again, it'll be Judasek who will take it. 3 minutes to go here in this first half. Got the Woods Basement Systems halftime show coming up for you. Kahok softball and baseball in action today. So is tennis. Volleyball is the only one that gets the day off as that ball ends up going behind the net. Cardinals in action as well. Blues have a couple of days off as they try to straighten things out and pick up a win when that best-of-7 series shifts to the Enterprise Center on Thursday with the St. Louis Blues down 2-0. Sinchen checks back in for Belleville West. Over to the far sideline it goes. Here is Emma Hagan. Hagan sends it up. Continued that way, but Sinchen, who just checked back into the game, sends it out of bounds. Collinsville will have a throw in at the end of their bench, and Carly Call will do the honors once again. Oh, a little bit of a miss there by Munoz, and then a ball that ends up going across the line as Giannini was trying to send it back for a little offensive push, but that ends up going off of the shins of Josie Coughlin, and it'll turn into a goal kick restart coming up here for Carly Van Dyke, excuse me. Yeah, I got one more year with the two Carleys. They'll play basketball together and soccer together, so we'll have a couple more times I'll call each of them by their friend's last name, I'm sure. Probably even happen here tonight. 1:15 left to go here in this first half. Throw in belongs to Belleville West. As soon as they can track down the ball. There we go. Doobie will throw it in. And right outside of the 18-yard box, it finds Addie Gagan. Gagan then finds Coughlin. Coughlin already has a goal. Here is Gagan with a shot. That's in a hard spot, and that one goes in. by Addie Gagan, 4-0 in favor of Belleville West. So Addie Gagan will pick up her 9th goal. It seems like Coughlin, Gagan, and Schaefer are all just jockeying back and forth, trying to take over the lead in goals. Now it's Gagan's turn. Coughlin now with 9. Gagan now with 9. Schaefer with 2 goals here also has 9.
Belleville West 4th goal of the game, scored by number 7, Addie Gagan.
So Gagan, the senior midfielder, trying to say now, wait a minute. Let's tie this thing up again. Coughlin and Gagan started off coming into this game with the shared lead in goals with 8, while Schaefer had 7. And as I mentioned, Schaefer's already scored twice. And then Coughlin and Gagan have each scored once, so now they're all knotted at 9. Belleville West looking for more, but that's going to do it for the first half. 4-0 in favor of Belleville West as we head to the halftime show, brought to you by my friends at Woods Basement Systems, all things basementy. Been doing their thing since 1986, and that is helping to keep your home dry. If you have some water issues going on in your house, give Wood Basement Systems a call at their Collinsville headquarters, 618-708-4055. Woods Basement System halftime show comes your way next on the Kahok Sports Network. VFW Post 1117 in Caseyville is one of the area's longest-running VFW posts. VFW Post 1117 in Caseyville is your place to meet and join other area veterans. Plus, VFW Post 1117 in Caseyville offers all kinds of activities to help our veterans, as well as engaging the public with fun, food, fellowship, and a great time for great causes. Blood drives, fundraisers, raffles, and a Queen of Hearts drawing every Wednesday night. Plus, VFW Post 1117 in Caseyville has event space for your parties, celebrations, and other get-togethers. For more information, check out the VFW Post 1117's Facebook page or call the Caseyville VFW at 618-344-9878.
The Collinsville Area Community Foundation is our community's charitable foundation. We connect people, support programs, and guide resources to help our community thrive. Our board is made up of local leaders that donate their time and expertise to identify opportunities for long-term community impact in and around Collinsville. Find out more about scholarships, grants, and ways to give back to the city we love by visiting CollinsvilleFoundation.com.
Got vinyl? Rich's Record Emporium in Uptown Collinsville can take care of all of your vinyl needs and more. You can peruse through thousands of records, from country to hard-to-find jazz, and classic rock is always in stock at Rich's Record Emporium. Used vinyl, new vinyl, and hard-to-find vinyl. Don't forget to check out the audio room at Rich's, where you can check out the latest in audio gear, from new top-of-the-line speakers to turntables and receivers, plus all of the accessories. Rich's has t-shirts, record cleaners, turntable needles, wall art, and so much more. If you can't find what you're looking for at Rich's, they will do their best to find it for you. Don't forget to mention seeing this ad on the Kahok Sports Network for a 10% discount at checkout. Rich's Record Emporium, 131 West Main Street in Collinsville, or call 618-795-1333 or online at richesrecordemporium.com. Mike's Automotive in Collinsville is a T3 certified tire dealer and so much more. Sure, Mike's Automotive has tires. They can also help with making sure your entire vehicle is road ready, from belts and hoses to preventative maintenance like oil changes and tire rotation. Plus a lot more than that. Mike's Automotive has 3 locations to choose from. Mike's Automotive in St. Louis and Millstadt, and Mike's Automotive in Collinsville at 1150 St. Louis Road, just blocks from the high school. Or call Mike's Automotive at 618-345-0611. Mike's Automotive in Collinsville.
First National Bank of Waterloo, with over 100 years serving the Metro East. Visit First National Bank of Waterloo at their Maryville and Collinsville locations, and now in Marissa, St. Laborie, and New Athens for all of your banking, mortgage, and lending needs, with with super low closing costs and low construction loan rates. When you need a loan, call the Collinsville team at First National Bank of Waterloo at 618-345-1121 or visit their Maryville or Collinsville locations or online at fnbwaterloo.bank. Visit First National Bank of Waterloo, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Lakeside Roofing in Collinsville. Let the professionals at Lakeside Roofing protect your most important investment, your home or business. Have the elements taken a toll on your roof system? Notice a leaking roof? Maybe it's time for a free roof inspection. Regular maintenance can extend the life of your roofing system by 10 years or more. Lakeside Roofing is your winning team for commercial and residential roofing systems. Lakeside All-Star professionals have installed, repaired, and maintained hundreds of roofs on both sides of the river. Call Lakeside Roofing today at 618-344-2800 in Collinsville or 314-241-5253 or online at lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience, choose Lakeside.
We welcome you back into the Woods Basement Systems halftime show. 4-0 in favor of Belleville West here over Collinsville. JV team lost earlier today. 2-0. Baseball and softball, not good news. 14-3. Granite City beat your Lady Kahok softball team today, 13-1. Edwardsville over your Kahok baseball team. The tennis team, the boys Kahok tennis team, did have a win today. They beat Triad at Triad by a final of 5-4. And in the fourth inning at Atlanta, St. Louis Cardinals have a 2-1 lead over the Braves. So that's going to be a look at your halftime show, brought to you again by my friends at Woods Basement Systems, all things basement-y. If you have some water issues going on in your house, you need to get those rectified because that is not fun. Been there, done that, and that's why I called Woods Basement Systems to help us out back when we had that problem. 618-708-4055. Second half action, that comes your way next on the Kahok Sports Network.
Old Herald Brewery and Distillery in Collinsville produces their own spirits and beer on site, right at the restaurant. Pair that with some of the most unique menu items around the entire metro area, and you can see why they are such a hit. They can handle you and your family, or they can handle you and your group. Throw in the occasional live entertainment, and you can see why Old Herald Brewery and Distillery is a must-stop destination in Collinsville. Old Herald Brewery and Distillery, 115 East Clay Street in Collinsville, 618-855-8027 or online at oldheraldbrewing.com. Keep your ride shiny and clean with Extreme Details Vehicle Detailing in Collinsville. Owner Jay Merkel and his crew at Extreme Details believe in the value of community and in helping their community hold the value of their vehicles with a sharp-looking, clean ride that you and your community can be proud of. Extreme Details can handle any job, whether you drive a small car, an SUV, or even a bus or RV. No job is too big or too small at Extreme Details. Extreme Details offers scratch and oxidation removal, no matter what you drive: cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, and more. Plus, Extreme Details can handle fleet vehicles for you and your company. Call Jay and the gang at Extreme Details at 618-977-1224. Check for periodic specials on the Extreme Details Facebook page. Put the shine in your ride with Extreme Details, 618-977-1224.
It's probably the largest purchase you'll ever make. We have 5 agents on our team.
We cover about an hour radius around St. Louis.
We grew up here. We know every town like the back of our hands.
Our job as realtors is helping someone find their dream home, whether it's a family or an individual. We just want to do everything that we can to keep the process as simple and as stress-free as possible for you.
The Blaylock Group, the official realtors of the Kahok Sports Network and Kahok Athletics. Todd Duke here, proud member of the Collinsville Educational Assistance Association. Whether you call us teachers' aides, paraprofessionals, or educational assistants, it all comes down to one thing: taking care of students. More importantly, your student. Yes, we are there for the teachers, and we help them in any way possible. But our goals are in line with our teachers in that we want to see our students succeed at not only being a student, but well beyond that as we ready them for the world outside of the classroom. We are Union Strong. We are Kahok Strong. We strive to help students reach their potential. We are the Collinsville Educational Assistance Association. Go Kahawks! Lottie's Cafe, Collinsville's hidden gem. Lottie's Cafe offers food, cocktails, and gaming in a great atmosphere highlighted by fast and friendly service. Lottie's Cafe also offers a unique menu that features soups and salads, sandwiches and paninis, pizza and flatbreads, appetizers and desserts, as well as breakfast. That's right, we said breakfast. Unique breakfast items such as a breakfast stromboli, a breakfast BLT, and breakfast burritos. Lottie's also offers creative cocktails, a wine bar, the coldest beer around, and a video gaming area for those 21 and older. And don't forget the Lottie's Cafe gift certificates. Lottie's Cafe, Collinsville's hidden gem. Check them out online at lottiescafe.com, on Facebook, or in person in the Strip next to the Walmart Neighborhood Market. Or call Lottie's Cafe at 618-223-8256. Lottie's Cafe, Collinsville's hidden gem. Collinsville High School alumni Stacy Lauenstein, CHS class of 91, Lisa Bassetto, Sarah Sulke, and Tracy Limp, CHS class of 94, Tony Geisen, CHS class of 96, and Kevin Robinson, CHS class of 99, want to wish all of our Kahawks a great year. We look forward to cheering you on and supporting you. Work hard on the court and the field, as well as in the classroom. Remember, once a Kahawk, always a Kahawk. Hashtag Kahawk Family.
We are underway here in half number 2. Collinsville down by a score of 4-0. Belleville West has scored 4 goals on 7 shots. Collinsville still looking for their first shot on goal. They've had a couple of corner kicks, but couldn't generate a shot out of that. Maroons have had 3 corner kicks. They didn't generate much out of their corner kicks either. None of their goals have come off of corner kicks. And we have our first whistle here of this second half. It's going to go against Belleville West. Collinsville is going to have a free kick, but on the defensive side of midfield for Ashley Giannini. Paige Bonemeyer back in goal for Collinsville. Nice to see her. She was hurt in that Belleville West game that we did for you a few weeks back. I believe that this is her first action since then, so nice to see her back in there and recovered from her injury. Here is Giannini. Sends it over to Reg. Reg sends the ball up, gets it right back, and then sends it up the sideline once again. Popped up and almost made it into a can over there. But that was one of the Gatorade jugs over there, so it hit the top lid. Trash can sitting right next to it. I think that would have been funny if it would have went in. Softball team lost, as I mentioned at the halftime show, 14-3. They will be taking on Greenville tomorrow at home. I'm supposed to have that game for you if it indeed gets played at the Collinsville Sports Complex. We will definitely have that game on for you. Zach Roseman will be here tomorrow as your Lady Kahawks are back in action against Orchard Farm. And then Zach will have baseball for you on Thursday against Edwardsville at SIUE, and then I'm scheduled to have a baseball game against Waterloo, also from SIUE on Friday. Into the box, and that one goes well wide over here past this near side post. Paige Bonemeyer has her right thigh wrapped up as well. So does Giannini. Giannini injured hers, though, in a Powder Puff football game, but Bonemeyer injured hers in the game at Belleville West a few weeks back. Just underway here in half number 2. Collinsville's got a long way to go, down by 4. Off of a head, comes down for Everett. Everett trying to work it back up, get a little offense going here. That gets past everyone, but here comes Stellhorn out. She'll send the ball back out to midfield off of the head of Reg and then back over into the offensive portion of the field, but Belleville West gets there first, stops the ball from going out of bounds right in front of their bench. We'll send it up front. Here is Judasek. Judasek sends it over to Lang. Lang trying to spring feed a little bit of offense. Duhadway is going to get there first, though, over here on this near sideline. Trying to get around the defender. Couldn't do so. Good stellar defense there applied by Sternow. Comes back for Judasek. Judasek will send it up the line, trying to spring Serna over there. Serna will go chase the ball down as it's heading toward that out-of-bounds area. She saves it from going out of bounds, sends it up the line a little farther, and then it'll be just poked out of bounds by Belleville West as they'll go ahead and let Collinsville have a throw-in. Throw-in coming from Hayden Reg. Reg throws it just outside of the box to Serna. Serna gets bumped off of the ball again, and again Belleville West will send it out of bounds, and Collinsville will have yet another throw-in. This one is going to be handled by Elena Serna. Serna throws it right into the front corner of the 18-yard box, comes right back to her, and then it finds one of the defenders there for Belleville West, more specifically Emerson Morris. Morris sends the ball up, but Giannini intercepts that, tries to go back for it, but that ball bounces off Ascension. And here comes Belleville West. Addie Gagan, who has a goal, will send it up. Addie Munez will have that ball go out of bounds, and Collinsville will have a throw in from there. And here is Carly Call. Coming up on the first 5 minutes expiring here in this one. That one's off of the inside knee of Munez. Comes down. Addie tries to get there again. Can't do it. Carly Call trying to chase down Addie Gagan. That ball goes over the far side post and kept out on a nice play there by Bonemeyer. And that's going to turn into a corner kick coming up here for the Lady Maroons, their fourth of the night. And Liv Schaefer, who has 2 goals in this game, will supply that corner kick. She will set the ball down. She's ready to go. And the kick on the way. Stays low. Collinsville, Carly Call got there first and gets there second, and then banks it off the legs of one of the Lady Maroon players. So that'll turn into a goal kick restart coming up here for Bonemeyer, who is going to go ahead and take this herself despite her injured leg. And she'll use that injured leg to send it out. And it rolls off of the back of one of the players and comes out to midfield. Here is DeHadway. DeHadway at the logo trying to send it up and spring Everright, but that one missed her. And the defense for Belleville West will just go ahead and send it back to Stellhorn. Stellhorn will send the ball back out toward midfield. Carly Call gets there first, trying to get the ball to DeHadway, but that misses her. And the defense will take over once again for Belleville West. And here comes Morris. Morris with a nice little burst of speed sends the ball up here to Gagan. Gagan already has a goal. Comes around the outside of the 18-yard box. Stopped there by Munez. That ball will roll across close to the end line. Sent over there by Gagan, though, back into the middle of the box. But getting there first was Giannini. And then here is a shot that'll go out of bounds off of the foot of Morgan Lang. It'll be a throw-in coming up here. They're going to say actually that went off of one of the Belleville West players. So Carly Call will have a throw-in. Carly waiting for everybody to get in their positions. Throws the ball in off of the head of DeHadway. Collinsville looking to send it back up the other way, but Belleville West will get there first and ruin those plans. Here is Oliver. Oliver sends the ball up to Coughlin. Coughlin also has a goal in this game. Nice job by Giannini. Giannini just overtook Hagan. Went from behind her, got the ball, and sends it up the line. Stopped over there by midfield, or at midfield by the defense. Comes back over to Judasek. Judasek over to Munez. Munez was trying to send it up here for Everright, but that ball got blocked, and another opportunity here for Gagan. Gagan will come over here to the near side sideline and puts on a nice move to get around the Collinsville defense, and then a shot on goal saved by Bonemeyer. Coming up on 32 minutes left to play here in this second half. Bonemeyer will send the ball out, even though one of the Belleville West players was busy tying a shoe right in front of her. That play got whistled dead. And a free kick coming up here for Belleville West. They'll waste no time, sending it over here to Gagan. Gagan outside of the 18-yard box once again, being watched closely there by Everett. She'll just poke it over the sideline. Gagan throws the ball into Sternow. Right back to Gagan it goes. Gagan also one of the captains. Cuts into the 18-yard box from the near side, sends it up. Blocked out by the Kahok defense. They'll send it back over across the sideline. It'll be another throw-in coming up here for Belleville West. This one will be handled by Sternow. A little side kick. Schaefer. Collinsville gets a hold of it. Sends it back out toward midfield. Picked up there by DeHadway. DeHadway sending the ball over there, but I heard one of the fans say, got to have help. There wasn't anybody back there. Closest one was Serna. She ended up getting her foot on the ball and sending it over to the far side where Belleville West couldn't hold it in, so Hayden Reg with another throw in here. Our pregame guest, Ava DiGirolamo, checks back in, as does our next pregame guest, Ella Borm. That'll be the game we'll have for you on May 1st. I already warned her. Belleville West going back to work. Here is Gagan. Gagan puts on a nice move in front, still chasing the ball down. Collinsville finally kicks it out of harm's way for a moment. Here is Sternow, though. She'll send it over toward the middle of the field. Collinsville will find it and go back to work. Here is Serna. Serna trying to send it up to Spring Judasek, but that ball never made it to her. Here is Doobie. Doobie over on the far side, just outside the box, is tripped up. And no call on the play. Thought for sure that was going to be a call, but didn't happen. And a chance, and that one is a three-pointer right through the uprights. You can see all the people down there throwing up their hands like they're judges for a field goal in a football game. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, I walked over. All of the varsity players were sitting on the bleachers over by the concession stand, and I'm like, Ava DiGirolamo, you're next. And I'm like, do you guys, like, when you see me walking this way, all of a sudden that Darth Vader number goes off in your heads? They're all like, yeah. Into the box it goes, and Belleville West with an opportunity and a goal. This one, waiting for the young lady to show me a number here. It looks like it might be Coughlin again. Still waiting. You know, turn around and show me that number. Nope, that is number 13. That is Emma Hagan who will score that goal. And that makes it 5-0 in favor of Belleville West.
Belleville West fifth goal of the game scored by number 13, Emma Hagan.
So 5-0 in favor of Belleville West. And if Collinsville uphill battle wasn't bad enough, it just got extremely worse there. Up the far sideline it goes. Collinsville trying to track it down. Canucks are looking for their first shot on goal. And back out to Carly Call. Carly was playing up front a little earlier in this game, but now she is playing on the back line. She'll step into that one and send it out of bounds. It'll belong to Belleville West. Throw in will be handled by Eddie Gagan. Gagan with a goal. Hagan with a goal. Hagan, Emma, scored her second of the year. Collinsville sends it back out to midfield. Now back over this way and just under the foot of Gagan. Sends the ball up the line. No, here is Morris. Morris will send a cross in, and that'll be handled by Bodemeyer. 5 goals on 11 shots on goal by Belleville West. Bonemeyer sends that one back out to midfield. That was a nice kick. Belleville West takes over once again, though. Here is Morris. Morris makes her way up toward the front of the box, and another opportunity here for West, and they score again, and that is a hat trick for Livy Schaefer on the night. Six to nothing in favor of Belleville West. And things are out of control here. So Livy Schaefer gets the hat trick. That was a nice feed she got, though, from Morris. Sets her up perfectly.
Belleville West, 6-goal game, scored by number 4, Livy Schaefer. Time of the goal, 52-35. Schaefer, third of the game.
So still 27 minutes left to go here.
Number 3, Ella Smith.
As Ella Smith checks back into the game. For Collinsville, here is Stellhorn. She'll pop that ball straight up into the air. Comes down for Gagan. Goes the wrong direction, though. And then Gagan kind of grabs a hold of Everwright. Wouldn't let her get very far. And no call on the play. Judasek lost the ball. Collinsville will have to go back and play some defense once again. Here is Ella Smith. Smith will turn around at the sideline. Send it out of bounds. So a throw-in coming up here for Belleville West. 26.5 to go here in this second half. Collinsville down 6-0. Judasek sends the ball up to midfield. That's intercepted, though, by Sternow. Sternow gets a little pressure from behind and sends the ball up right onto the foot of Ella Smith. But that runs right into the head of Sinchen. And Belleville West goes back to work. Another opportunity here for Gagan. Gagan, just outside of the 18-yard box, will track it down and look to center, but that spins off of her and had so much spin on it that it stayed there for Collinsville to send the ball out of harm's way. Here is Everwright. Everwright sends it up to Judasek. Collinsville gets a hold of it, trying to send it back to midfield where in the circle was DeHadway, but it never made it that far. I heard that up here in the box. Another home run for the Braves, so Cardinals still running into problems here in the early season. Cardinals look pretty good to start the year off, and then they left the confines of Busch Stadium, and things have just kind of fell apart. St. Louis has one road win so far on the year.
Number 15, Reese Kaufman. 21, Allison Barrera.
Reese Kaufman comes in. Allison Barrera will check back into the game for Collinsville. First time we've seen the freshman Reese Kaufman into the game. Lights starting to take effect here after a beautiful sunshiny day here in the St. Louis metropolitan area. I have another one of those days on tap for tomorrow. A little bit of rain in the forecast on Thursday, and then I think more rain in the forecast on Friday. We don't need any more rain around here. The weather people have said we are already 6 inches more rain than what we usually have this time of year, so we're fine. I'm going to keep the rain away. I'm fine with that. I've only been able to cut my grass like twice because of all the rain we've had. Collinsville looking for a goal into the 18-yard box, trying to track it down. That is the aforementioned Kaufman. Almost an opportunity there for Collinsville, but Belleville West comes away with the ball. And here is Sternow. Sternow sends the ball up, and Smith banks it right off of Schaefer, and Smith will handle the throw-in. Does so. And the Kahawks go back to work. Here is Munoz, and now a little bit of trouble here for Collinsville with a loose ball being picked up there. A chance for Belleville West to score another one, and that one is going to be saved by Bodemeyer. The 13th shot on goal for Belleville West here tonight. Bonemeyer will send it back out to midfield. A little tipped off of her toe instead of the top of her foot like she normally does. Another opportunity coming up here, and here is Schaefer, who already has the hat trick, but Munoz stopped that, and back to the defense it goes. Defense doesn't waste any time sending it up. Here is Morris. Morris trying to dance around Ella Borm. Pass into the middle, and Judasek got a toe on it first, but Belleville West will stay with it, and they'll send it back over here to Sternow. Sternow up the line to Schaefer. Schaefer will leave it there for Morris. Morris races in. A pass into the center, but that's picked up by Collinsville and sent back out to midfield, but nothing but white uniforms back there waiting for it. Kahawks. Kaufman looking to turn around and head the other way, but Sinchen got in her way and stopped that from happening. Now she'll get the ball back on a pass from Sternow and sent over into the middle. Collinsville trying to keep it going the other direction, but there is Sinchen again. Sinchen will send one up, trying to find Morris. I think actually she was trying to find Schaefer coming up over here on the near side. That ball's going to go out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in coming up here for Belleville West.
Collinsville substitution number 23, Eliana Serna.
Eliana Cerno checks back in.
Number 16, Lily Glauber.
Lily Glauber will check into the game for Belleville West. Throw-in will come from Sternow. Sternow. Schaefer. Back over to Sternow. And then over to Morris. Morris dances around. Comes in front of the box. Takes a shot. That's going to go wide over to the near side post. And another goal kick restart coming up here for Paige Bonemeyer. Cardinals trailing in that game now 4-2. Blues, as I mentioned, no play again until Thursday, so they have a couple of days off to freshen up the bodies. That's been a hard-hitting first two games in Winnipeg. Corner kick coming up here for Belleville West. That ball goes over, and then another save by Bonemeyer. Fifth corner kick of this game for Belleville West. Late start Thursday at Enterprise Center, though. Schedule says 8:30, so you know that means face-off probably won't happen until 8:45. That ball bounces away from everyone, and a little tap back over to Stellhorn from Sternow. Stellhorn doesn't waste any time getting the ball back down. And out to midfield it goes, and that banks off of the legs of Schaefer. Throw-in coming up here for Ella Smith. Comes down for Collinsville. Kahawks trying to turn the corner and head in the other direction. Back out to midfield. Over onto the far side, being chased down over there by Sternow. To Stellhorn. She'll send it back out to midfield once again. Didn't quite make it that far. Comes down between a couple of bodies and then kind of stops there for a minute. Into the Kahawk bench it goes. And Belleville West comes away with it and begins their progression up into the offensive zone once again. Collinsville will send it back to Bonemeyer. Bonemeyer will send the ball back out to midfield immediately. Sets down there at the midfield stripe. Belleville West sends it up. Being chased down by Capel, but they're going to say that was offsides, and Collinsville will get the ball back on a free kick. Halfway through the second half. 4-0 Belleville West in the first half. Two more goals here in the second half has made it 6-0 in favor of the Maroons. Lady Kahawks, not a lot of time to think about this game. They have a game tomorrow against Orchard Farms out of St. Charles, Missouri. Here is Schaefer trying to thread the needle up for another pass. That's intercepted by Munoz. Sent back to the defense for Belleville West. They settle it down at midfield and will go back to work on the offensive side of things. Schaefer trying to get to the ball, but Smith got there first. And a feed that just ended up going behind Reese Kaufman.
Belleville West substitution number 19, Leila Stinson.
Is Barrera wearing 17 for us?
17 for us. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
I didn't even think about that. I forget that Carly Van Dyke, when she's not in goal, she's playing midfield and wears number 17. Oh, yeah, Todd Duke says. I remember now. It was while Bonemeyer was in there earlier in the year. That's what Van Dyke wore. Up the line it goes. Out of bounds it goes. Substitutions for Collinsville.
Collinsville substitution number 7, Morgan Lang. Number 16, Melissa Garcia.
Melissa Garcia checks into the game, as does Morgan Lang. Throw-in comes from Ella Smith and heads right back to the sideline where it finds the foot of Morris. Morris sends the ball up. And here once again is Capel trying to control the ball up that sideline. Gives it up on a pass, and she goes to set herself up for a pass back, but that never materialized. And Belleville West still working hard at it. Here is Home. Home on up. And that ball will go across the end line. It'll be a goal kick restart coming up here for Bonemeyer. 16:40 left to play here in this second half. All Belleville West in this one tonight. 6-0 in favor of the Lady Maroons. Layla Wilkerson checks back in. Bonemeyer sends the ball back out. Belleville West gets there first. Here is Munoz. Addy sends it on up to Wilkerson. Wilkerson trying to retreat then and get the ball away from Sternow. Sternow will do the throw-in and finds Morris. Morris and Smith in a little bit of a battle there. That ball stays in bounds on the sideline. Collinsville once again sends it in between the defender's legs. And back out to midfield. Layla Stinson sends it over onto the far side. Comes down right just outside of the edge of the midfield circle. And it gets popped up into the air once again. Belleville West leading 6-0. A lot of the backup players coming into this game for Lady Maroons. Lady Maroons don't play again until Monday when they host Triad. Collinsville looking for some offense here. Here is Morgan Lang. Lang will send it over this way, and that is Wilkerson. Wilkerson putting on a couple of nice moves to keep the defender at bay. Comes back over now for Garcia. Garcia couldn't continue the push forward. Here is Cerna. Cerna sends it back to the defense. Addie Munoz will send it over to the far side. Collinsville looking to get a little offense going here, but that one's going to get past everybody, and Stellhorn's going to have no problem picking that one up. 14.5 to go here in the second half. Out to midfield it goes, and the Maroons, they get first touch. They'll send it over here to this near sideline, and that's off of Smith, stays in bounds. And here is Sternow. Sternow sends the ball up. Serna, she finds it first, sends it back over to Munoz. Munoz sends it over to Giannini. Ashley sends it up in front. No good there, and then the ball all the way over onto the far side sideline. Little pinball back and forth there off a couple of bodies at midfield. Comes back, and they'll just tap it back over to Bonemeyer, who will send it out to midfield. Takes the Belleville West bounce, though. Comes to Giannini. Giannini sends it up front now for Wilkerson. Wilkerson trying to head back the other direction, putting on a couple of nice moves to keep the ball away from the Belleville West defender, and that was Glauber. Then a loose ball. It's going to be picked up and once again tapped back to Bonemeyer. She'll put that right leg into it and send it back out toward midfield off of one of the Lady Maroons and to the logo. Collinsville heading in the right direction, trying to keep it that way. They'll send it back and just a little bit past Morgan Lang as she was coming up. There is Munoz, and she can't continue the progression, but she's fighting for every inch out there. She's in a little bit of a battle there with Sternow. Got two Sternows, by the way, Alyssa and Hannah. Kaoks, loose ball. They'll take care of it, send it down into the offensive zone. And coming well out of her goal, well, she's going to wait at the 18-yard box line. Then she'll pick it up. Getting a little pressure there from Carly Van Dyke. Stellhorn back out to midfield. Kaoks back to their defense, and they will send it all the way back to Bonnemeyer. Page will send it back out to midfield once again. Takes the Collinsville bounce. Belleville West, they'll get there first. Into the midfield circle it goes, then out. Over to the far side sideline. Maroons. That ball ends up rolling out of bounds. And it will belong to Belleville West. Throw in coming up. Up the sideline, right in front of their bench. Comes right back to whoever threw that in. Once it gets dark, it's harder for me to pick up these numbers. But Belleville West comes into the offensive zone once again. They'll send it right into the middle and right off of Morris. Morris trying to chase it down before Ella Smith could get there. Morris got there first. Smith gets there second, and we'll send it out of bounds. 11 minutes to go here in the second half. Smith throws the ball in. Belleville West sends it back out. Now it'll belong to Collinsville. Ella Smith with another throw in. Will find Lang, but that ball gets away from her and into the 18-yard box. That would be the Belleville West Maroons. They'll send it back out, send another one up close, and then Bonnemeyer will come out and grab that one before it has a chance to find one of the legs of the Lady Maroons. Bonnemeyer sends us back to action. Once again, Giannini will tip it on back to Bonnemeyer. She'll immediately kick it as she was being pressured by a young lady with the number 14 on her back, and I have no idea who that is. She is not on the Belleville West roster. I take it it's on your roster, though, right? Yeah, see, I got the roster from the last time I did the game. Lila Roche. Yep, my roster is from the game I did a few weeks ago at Belleville West. So apparently they brought up a young lady, and I did not know. I was not aware. Collinsville looking for some offense. Gets it up into the box, and they'll just tap it on back to Stellhorn. Stellhorn immediately sends it out over here to this near side sideline, and before that ball had a chance to go out of bounds, Morris stopped it from doing so, but they're going to go ahead and say that it did go out of bounds. And it'll be a throw-in coming up here for Collinsville. Wilkerson was looking around her who was going to throw this in. She's like, okay, I'll just do it. Gets the ball over to Lang. Back to the defense here is Addie Munoz. Munoz sends the ball up. Wilkerson couldn't stop it. Now back over to Munoz, and then back up it goes again. Belleville West comes away with it this time. Up the near sideline, little hip check thrown there by Munoz, who knocked Morris off the ball, but Morris comes back and stays with it. And then it's in a little bit of a battle there with Smith until Wilkerson couldn't hold it in. And another throw-in coming up here for Alyssa Sternow. Emerson Morris will head back to the bench. And here is Elsa Hubble. Yeah, right off of Hubble. See, the ball will find you. As soon as you come into the game, the ball will find you. Right off of her thigh and out of bounds. Eight minutes left to play here in this second half. It's been all Belleville West. 4 goals in the first half, 3 here in the second. Or excuse me, 4 goals in the first half, 2 here in the second. 6-0. Ziza Nambo Mendez. We interviewed her a couple of weeks back for her senior interview. She gets to see a little action. Supposed to have some softball for you tomorrow as Greenville comes to town at the Collinsville Sports Complex. I drove by there today. I had to go down to Walmart to get some chips and soda for the students in the room that I'm a part of at Hollywood Heights School. So I decided to stop by there and take a drive around. And water was receding, just a couple of puddles on the warning track. Was a muddy spot out in right field, but it's had all day to dry. That was about 10 o'clock this morning, so with that bright sunshine and warm temperatures, it might have had a chance to dry up a little bit more. Plus, we have the same thing scheduled for tomorrow. So most of the day, that thing will have a chance to dry up even more. We might be able to get a game in there. Now, I've understood, if I heard correctly, that things are progressing quite nicely at Fletcher Field. So it looks like by the time we get through with these last couple of games at SIUE at the end of this month, we might be able to play some games on the actual home field before we make the move to the new home field behind the high school next year. Hopefully, if everything goes right, they'll get that done. Yep, that's what I've heard. Baseball field's supposed to be the first field done. And they'll start playing there next March, hopefully. It'll be a year after that before softball will be ready to play up there. Stellhorn will send us back to work. Collinsville got it deep, but could not get a shot on goal, and Stellhorn sends that one right out of bounds. 6 minutes to play here in this second half. Throw-in coming up here for Ella Smith. Comes down for Lang. Back over to Smith. Out to the middle of the field for Collinsville, looking for some offense. Into the middle it goes. Back to Lang. Lang cuts across the top of the circle, sends it right back to the midfield stripe for Giannini. And Giannini then lost the ball. She was trying to just tip it back to herself, but couldn't recover in time. Ball heads over to the far side sideline, being tracked down over there by Capel. Capel up the sideline, turns the corner, looking for some help. Collinsville will send it out of bounds, though. That would be Ava Smith over there who did that, I think. Yep. 5 minutes to play here in the second half. 6-0 in favor of Belleville West. Collinsville on the wrong side of the field for some offense. They'll send it back up, though, trying to get it to midfield and beyond. Taken there by Belleville West at midfield. And now sent up over here on this near sideline. Hubble trying to find it. She couldn't. Pass from Sternow didn't make it to its final destination. And then a little tip back over to Stellhorn. Stellhorn sends it back over once again for Sternow. Sternow over to Hubble. Hubble back to Sternow. She'll send it up, but Giannini is the first one to get there. She'll push the ball back into the offensive zone, but the defense and Hannah Sternow will step up and send it back out to midfield. Ava Smith trying to track it down. She did so, got a pass off, but once again the defense for Belleville West will take over. Trying to thread the needle, but turning around the wrong way. I believe that was Nambo Mendez. Had the right idea, just turned the wrong direction and lost track of the ball. Maroons then found it and sent it back up the right way. Right way for them. Wrong way if you're a Kahok fan. Up the far sideline it goes. And that will stay inbound for Stellhorn. She comes all the way out. Kicks the ball out of bounds again. Mason Wynn got reactivated today off the IL and Hits a single in the 6th. Cardinals score, but still trail the Braves 4-3. Collinsville punches it up into the front of the 18-yard box, and then a header right back out as Hubble will track it down for the Maroons. Send it up over here for Eddie Muniz. Muniz sends the ball over to Smith. Smith, a little bit of a no-look pass and didn't really have a target in mind, just sent it up into the offensive zone, but it found one of the defenders there for the Maroons and then knocked out of bounds by Layla Roush. Coming up on 2.5 to play here in this one. 6-0 in favor of Belleville West. Post-game show will be coming your way right at the conclusion. Again, Zach Roseman will be here tomorrow as Lady Kahawks take on Orchard Farms. I am due to bring you softball, only my second softball game of the year, if we can get that one in over at the sports complex. Stepped into that one, did Ava Smith. Over to the far side it goes. 2 minutes to go here at Kahawk Stadium. Into the midfield circle it goes. Here is Giannini. Giannini sends the ball over to Ella Smith. Smith sends it over here onto this near sideline for Nambo Mendez. Back up to Smith it goes, and that banks off of a couple of bodies, the last one being Smith, so it'll be a throw-in coming up here for Belleville West. Comes down. Who wants it? Muniz. Muniz does, and then we'll send it back over to Smith once again, and Smith will send it out of bounds. Throw in coming from Alyssa Sternow. Off of Smith once again and out of bounds. So we'll try this again, just move it up about 10 yards. Sternow will get the ball right back as we are into the final minute of this contest. Here is Hubble. Hubble sends it up front and then gets it right back. Punches it up to the front of the 18-yard box. That's knocked away, but Belleville West stays with it. And Collinsville then gets a foot on it, and they'll send it over here for Nambo Mendez. Mendez will tap the ball over, trying to spring Everright, but she got stepped in front of by one of the defenders. Belleville West will pick up this win here tonight. And they will improve to 9-4-1. They'll go to 5-3 in the Southwestern Conference. Collinsville will drop to 4-7 and 2-5 in conference play. Belleville West will return home not till Monday. That's their next game against Triad. Thread the needle right at the buzzer, and that's going to do it. 6-0 in favor of Belleville West. Time now for the post-game show, brought to you tonight by LC's Pub in Caseyville. Great food, great drinks, great service, all served up daily at LC's Pub in Caseyville. 605 North Main Street is where you'll find them. Call them for carry-out, 618-855-9007. The LC's Pub post-game show comes your way next on the Kahawk Sports Network.
Looking for a little bite to eat in a nice, friendly establishment before heading out to a game? Look no further than LC's Pub in Caseyville. Just blocks from Collinsville High School, LC's Pub is the pub of choice for Kahawk fans, before, after, or even during Kahawk games. LC's Pub features a wide variety of traditional bar food like burgers and fries, chicken wings and chicken strips, appetizers like pepper jack mac and cheese bites, fried pickles, and green beans. Plus they have salads, fish, shrimp, and more. LC's Pub also features an outdoor patio, a gaming room, weekly poker tournaments, and a pool table, plus enough TVs for all the sports fans. And LC's Pub shows Kahawk games live, as well as Blues and Cardinals games. LC's Pub, 605 North Main Street in Caseyville, right across the intersection from All Pro Tees. Call for carry-out orders at 618-855-9007 and on Facebook at LC's Pub. LC's Pub, Kahawk fans' pub of choice.
At Visionary Wealth Advisors, we empower you to see your future before it's your future. To create your inheritance. To build your vision. To anticipate the known and unknown. And to find potential in both. And build new dawns. Visionary Wealth Advisors.
Visit Brad Keene at his Collinsville office at 106 North Clinton or call 618-467-8420. Do you have a big land improvement project that requires some outside help? Call Petroff Trucking Company. The Petroff Companies have been shaping the metro area since 1975. Family owned and operated, Petroff Trucking Company can do the job and do it right. Hauling, excavating, and grading, they do that and more. Petroff Companies also has roll-off dumpster rentals. They also specialize in dirt and rock sales. Petroff Trucking Company can help you develop your land for your needs. Petroff Trucking Company. Check out their website, petrofftrucking.com, or give them a call, 618-797-6100. Petroff Trucking Company, shaping the metro area since 1975.
The Junior Service Club of Collinsville has been a proud supporter of KahokSports.com and the Kahok Sports Network from day one. Since 1934, the Junior Service Club of Collinsville has been providing women in the community an opportunity to make a difference with fundraisers and projects, all that go towards helping the needy in Collinsville. If you would like any information on any event sponsored by the Collinsville Junior Service Club, head to Facebook, type in Collinsville Junior Service Club, and then click on the Event tab. We thank the Collinsville Junior Service Club for their continued support of the Kahok Sports Network and KahokSports.com.
Hi, Purple and White fans. This is Dan Mode, class of 1989. I'm with New American Funding. Myself and New American Funding are proud sponsors of Kahok Athletics. As we have great coaches at CHS on all the courts, fields, and tracks, we like to coach you through the home buying process and refinance process. If there's ever anything we can do, I can be reached at 618-973-5343 or www.danmodeloans.com. Let's support our student athletes at CHS. They deserve the best. Thank you for your time, and go Kahawks.
Pack Mail of Collinsville, locally owned and operated by Ryan Combs. Pack Mail can ship anything, anywhere. They treat you like a neighbor because, well, you are a neighbor. Pack Mail offers shipping materials and containers, private mailboxes, as well as climate-controlled self-storage. Visit Pack Mail at 407 Beltline Road in Collinsville. Online, WeShipSt.Louis.com or call Pack Mail at 346-4884. The Collinsville Education Association is a proud supporter of KahokSports.com and the Kahok Sports Network. The CEA is your partner as they work to ensure quality education for our children. The CEA advocates excellence and equity in public education and represent over 400 educators in 11 schools in both Madison and St. Clair counties. For more information, you can visit the Collinsville Education Association's Facebook page or the CEA's website at collinsvillecea.org.
The Old Herald Brewery and Distillery in Collinsville presents the Sports Page Lounge. Come check out Collinsville's newest destination for your sports viewing pleasure. The Sports Page Lounge features a 14-foot, 9-screen video wall with games across the spectrum, from college football and basketball to the NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, and NBA. Pair that with tastefully crafted libations from the Old Herald Brewery and Distillery, and you have the perfect atmosphere for your sports viewing pleasure. The Sports Page Lounge, next to the Old Herald Brewery and Distillery at 115 Clay Street in Collinsville. Call 618-855-8027 for more information. The Sports Page Lounge, a new experience for sports lovers in Collinsville. Just because we're adults doesn't mean we don't have toys, am I right? If your adult toys consist of boats, campers, or RVs, then you need to call the GASA storage team of professionals. Winter weather in the Midwest can be quite harsh, and finding a place to properly store those expensive toys for winter can be just as rough as a Midwest winter. That's where the GASA storage team comes in, with outdoor self-storage and covered storage for your toys. They even have tractor-trailer parking. Conveniently located at Horseshoe Lake Road and 111 in Pontoon Beach. GASA Storage, for the safe storage of all of your toys. Contact the GASA Storage team, gasastorage@gmail.com, or call today, GASA Storage Team, 618-797-6100. Looking for a little bite to eat in a nice, friendly establishment before heading out to a game? Look no further than LC's Pub in Caseyville. Just blocks from Collinsville High School, LC's Pub is the pub of choice for Kahok fans, before, after, or even during Kahok games. LC's Pub features a wide variety of traditional bar food, like burgers and fries, chicken wings and chicken strips, appetizers like pepper jack mac and cheese bites, fried pickles, and green beans. Plus, they have salads, fish, shrimp, and more. LC's Pub also features an outdoor patio, a gaming room, weekly poker tournaments, and a pool table, plus enough TVs for all the sports fans. And LC's Pub shows Kahok games live, as well as Blues and Cardinals games. LC's Pub, 605 North Main Street in Caseyville, right across the intersection from All Pro Tees. Call for carryout orders at 618-855-9007 and on Facebook at LC's Pub. LC's Pub, Kahok fans' pub of choice.
Welcome back into the LC's Pub post-game show here on the Kahok Sports Network. Well, no one's come up to talk to me, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Collinsville loses this one here tonight. 4 goals by Belleville West in the first half. 2 more in the second half, and Belleville West will walk out of here with a 6-0 win. Lady Kahawk's back at it tomorrow. Zach Roseman will have that game for you here from Kahawk Stadium against Orchard Farms out of St. Charles. I am scheduled to be at the Collinsville Sports Complex to bring you Lady Kahawk softball versus the Lady Comets of Greenville High School. So until then, everyone have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday.